Your boy lost his shades. Yo, what's up everybody, it's Fright Delight, and today let's talk about Scooby Doo made in 1999. But before we do, I gotta put these shades on. I gotta put on my old pair. Let me know if y'all feeling them or not. Now let's talk about Scooby Doo and the Witch's Ghost, made in 1999. This is when movies like The Bone Collector, The Mummy, and Boondock Saints were made. The movie's about Scooby and the gang getting invited to an autumn fest by a horror writer attempting to solve the mystery behind the Oakhaven hauntings. From what I understand, the general reception of the film is that people love this movie. They love that it has a great cast of not only main characters, but also side characters with the Hex Girls and even Ben Ravencroft. And they also love the fact that the animation still stands the test of time. And the people that don't have the same love for this movie say that the film is bland, lacking suspense, and say that this movie isn't as good as the golden years. Which is crazy to me because if you don't know, I've been a Scooby Doo fan since I burst through my mom's walls. And I always thought that the golden years was the movie Zombie Island, this movie, and Cyber Chase, alongside a few others, but those were the standouts. Now, if you haven't been here before, I'm gonna recap the movie, give my thoughts and opinions in between, and then end it off with a tier list that we'll be keeping track of throughout the entire year. Now let's stop playing and solve a mystery. The movie starts off with a professor walking through a museum getting spied on by the gang, which if you don't know consists of Velma, Daphne, Fred, Scooby, and Shaggy. As they keep a watch on him, two mummies attempt to whack him with medieval weapons, but he dodges them just in time with help from Scooby and Shaggy. Scooby releases the trap, attempting to capture the two, but it's no use as the mummies break free and chase Scooby and Shaggy. The chase scene lasts for a bit with them weaving an attack too. The chase ends when the two mummies are tripped, getting tangled in this medieval sex trap. The person that helped out the gang is Ben Ravencroft, a horror writer that Velma's infatuated with. He's also played by Tim fucking Curry. I never knew Pennywise was in this movie until now. Did you? Anyways, the two mummies are unmasked, revealing them to be
disgruntled archaeologists from the museum's Babylonian project. They were upset with you for cutting their funding, Dr. Dean.
Damn, Velma, you might as well recap the whole movie while you at it. Now, at this point, after the criminals go to jail, Ben invites the gang to his hometown in Massachusetts. Velma and the gang eagerly accept getting there that weekend. When they get there, they find out from the mayor that there's a festival happening in town featuring the Hex Girls. He also tells them about the ghost of Sarah Ravencroft. But the group aside from Scooby and Shaggy are skeptical, even guessing the witch's motive and getting it right the first time. A little later in the same day, they're shown what the town built, which is an exact replica of what life was like back in the 1600s. While some of the crew splits off and does their own thing, the mayor tells Velma that Sarah Ravencroft is Ben's ancestor. Oh shit. And at that time, she was prosecuted for being a witch, but then Ben defends his ancestor by saying she wasn't a witch, but a medicine woman that used natural remedies to heal people. He's been searching for her journal that had a list of all the patients she's cured with her herbal remedies. After the exposition, Scooby and Shaggy get hungry and decide to go get a bite to eat. At the same time, Ben invites the rest of the crew to the crib where he tells them about how helpful his ancestor was to the village. A little later that night, Scooby and Shaggy leave a restaurant full as hell with their stomachs hanging over their pants. This scene gets me almost every time. The two run the fat off getting out of breath. They aren't catching their breath for too long as the witch's ghost appears and starts chasing them down the street, throwing fireballs at them until they turn the corner, running into Ben and the gang. Of course, when everyone turns the corner to see what Scooby and Shaggy were running from, nothing's there. Well, as the crew investigates, Velma finds some gunpowder on the ground while Fred and Daphne find a line of chopped branches going down the road. Then, following these bright lights into the distance, the crew finds the Hex Girls, Tom, Luna, and Dust, practicing for the festival. I had their song stuck in my head for the entire day. It's so catchy, I bet it'll have the same effect on you.
I'm a Hex girl, and I'm gonna put a spell on you.
See, even the gang is jigging to this song. After the free concert, the gang splits up to investigate the ghost Scoob and Shaggy saw. Velma, Ben, Scoob, and Shaggy find the track marks leading to a barn that the mayor's coming out of, very suspicious. Velma and Ben check the barn while Scooby and Shaggy follow the mayor. Back with Fred and Daphne, they follow them back to her crib where they catch her making some potion, assuming that she's doing witchcraft. As they leave, Velma and Ben find that there was a truck inside the barn, getting closer to the answer of the mystery. Scooby and Shaggy catch the mayor delivering the package, then go into another barn suspiciously right after. They follow him, only to be met with the witch's ghost getting chased into running over the mayor, then crashes into Ben and Velma before hiding in the mailbox. Velma and Ben have a little cute scene while everyone meets in the same spot, including the mayor. The crew then meet at the barn Shaggy and Scooby dipped off from, saying that they need one more clue to solve the mystery. As the mayor leaves, Velma devises a plan for the group, and it works to perfection. They unmask the culprit and it ends up being Thorne's father. Then this phony ass mayor tries to act like he wasn't in on it, and as a matter of fact, the entire town was in on it, and he still tries to act innocent. But Velma checks that shit immediately, but nothing happens though, cause ain't nobody arresting the mayor. Scooby and Shaggy slide down to Ben's mansion where he triples down on her not being a witch. Fred and Daphne also take this time to apologize to Thorne, thinking she was ever a witch, but she brushes it off and says it's not that big of a deal. She tells him that she was just mixing some natural herbs to rest her throat before the show. Tell me what herbs those are, cause I'm gonna need that for my one. It's also revealed that she's 1/16th Wiccan on her mom's side, which isn't important at all. Really is not important. The real important part comes when the mayor comes back to apologize and say that they did find his ancestor's pen, but no journal, which leads Velma to do her own investigation with Scooby. She gives him a couple of Scooby snacks to dig deep underground. It doesn't take long for him to find a chest that contains a book that doesn't look like it'll help anyone but
A warlock.
First, Velma interrupts me in the beginning. Now this dude Ben gets me at the end. Fucking poetic. Anyways, Ben reveals that he's been playing the group the entire time, even setting up the museum mystery in the beginning. The group is in disbelief, not knowing what to do as Ben uses the book to grant himself powers. He even loses his glasses too, like Peter Parker. Within seconds, he uses his power to trap the mayor and Thorne's dad alongside the Hex Girls. The gang try to stop him, but he's too powerful at this point, trapping them in the ring of fire. They aren't trapped for long as Scooby and Shaggy come in the clutch and save them while driving out of there at the same time. Velma reminds them to turn back for the book, and after a quick back and forth, they're successful. Ben pulls the Jeepers Creepers and takes the tire out, causing them to crash and break down. This gives him enough time to grab the book and conjure an almighty push, causing the gang to fall back. He even summons his ancestor Sarah Ravencroft back from the grave. Her ghost looks like Evil Boo in the face, but I do like the Super Saiyan here. As soon as she's resurrected, she little boys Ben and tells him that she has no intention on ruling the world with him. She only wants to punish the world for her long imprisonment, and then immediately starts destroying the environment right after. Well, Ben is like, hell no, I'm gonna put your ass back in the book. Sarah laughs at him reading the book vigorously, like, nigga, please. She says only a Wiccan can imprison her back in the book, then shows the difference in power by trapping him inside a bubble. With some Scooby snacks, Velma convinces Shaggy and Scooby to grab the book while the others distract Sarah. The plan seems successful as Shaggy and Scooby dodge the various spells Sarah throws their way. When that doesn't work, she starts to chase them herself, but Scooby and Shaggy got them jets on them and get away. Oh, never mind. Scooby gets caught, but never come in between a man and his dog because Shaggy gets the courage to try to save Scooby by throwing a bucket of water on the witch, thinking it'll melt her.
Like it worked in The Wizard of Oz. Fool!
It doesn't work, but it was worth the effort because they end up getting the book anyway. As the two escape, Shaggy gets caught by these pumpkin monsters, but tosses the book to Scooby just in time, who then gets caught and passes the book to Daphne. She gets caught immediately too, so Fred rushes up to take the book. This reminds me of that scene in The Longest Yard when Mean Machine was trying to avoid getting tackled by doing some schoolyard bullshit.
What? He laterals the deacon! Tackle him! What? To Turley!
The book eventually ends up in Velma's hands, who then gets it to Thorne, which is the only one that could put Sarah back in her place because of her being 1/16th Wiccan. Was that surprising? Probably not. But Thorne is able to read the spell just in time to reverse the witch's spells and drag her back into the book, leading to not only Sarah getting dragged, but she takes Ben with her. It's fucked up, I'm laughing, I'm sorry, but how your ancestor hate you. Right after that, a flaming branch falls on the book and burns it to a crisp. The movie ends as everyone is released from their traps, and the Hex Girls give another banger of a performance while Scooby closes us out.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo!
Alright, homies. That was the end of Scooby Doo and the Witch's Ghost, a movie that I honestly wanted to do for you all because of my love for the franchise, and I don't think these films are talked about enough. Some of my positives for the film are not only the main characters, but the side characters too. I was as interested in the Hex Girls and the story with Ben as I was with the main cast. Another thing that was spot on with this movie was the soundtrack, and I'm not gonna lie, I watched this movie recently and I smiled ear to ear when I heard the Scooby Doo theme song and the Hex Girl song play throughout the movie, which I admittedly say is nostalgia driven. To me, this film stands out as one of the better Scooby Doo movies, and even though the movie is older, the animation and voice acting is still entertaining. And the only negative I have for this film is that the story tries nothing different, which isn't entirely a bad thing, but in the case for me, since I know what Scooby Doo films can bring when they do something different and get it right, I have to put this one in close to the same. Now, since this is an animated film, there won't be a survival tier list, but I will let you know my favorite characters outside the main cast, which might be obvious, but I love the Hex Girls. Even though they weren't in the movie for long, they certainly added the depth to the side characters on screen between their music performances and being able to complement the main characters alongside everyone around them. There's some of my favorite side characters coming out of Scooby Doo too, so I guess that helps. So those are my thoughts on Scooby Doo and the Witch's Ghost, a film that clocks in at just over an hour. It's honestly a movie you can throw on with the kids or even by yourself yourself and have an entertaining time, especially if you're a Scooby Doo fan. Well, homies, if you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for making it this far. Let me know what you thought about Scooby Doo and the Witch's Ghost in the comments below, even if you disagree with me. And if you enjoyed this video and have any movies that you want me to cover in the future, put that in the comments below too. Please like, subscribe to see more reviews like this one, and I appreciate y'all coming to a Fright Delight. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.